Hey YouTube, coming at you with a video from a subscriber whose name is Jack in the submission. They said, "Hey Dan, decently long time viewer here. Got into GBL around the wing attack buff, so that's like 4 seasons ago, something like that. And really hope you enjoy the battles. Gholdengo lead is amazing in this meta. Only battle that I want to bring to your attention is the Metagross lead 1. I played it out not so great and was wondering what critiques you may have." So thanks for the submission. So the team is Gholdengo, Gyarados with Waterfall, and Florges. And again, there's only like 14, 15 Pokemon this meta. Florges is the best, in my opinion, the best fairy. So that'll cover your dragon. So being able to go Waterfall, Gyarados as an answer to your steals. So the back two just cover each other, right? So then you have the lead of Gholdengo. And Gholdengo's an interesting one because it's half ghost, half steel. So you got some ground weakness. Not that there's any real darks, but some Pokemon have dark right moves. But two nukes, right? Shadow Ball and Focus Blast. So I don't have this Pokemon, so I'm interested to see it in action. I will definitely watch out for the Metagross lead to see how I would play it out differently. Metagross lead, here we go. So you have a good lead here. They get out into Dragonite, into Florges. Okay, that's so far so good. If anything, already off the bat, you should be farming up more, right? Because Dragonite has nothing to throw at you. So Dragonite only has Dragon Claw and Superpower, and Dragon Breath is resisted. So you basically threw your Moonblast like almost one after you got it. You should be farming to 100 energy. There's nothing that Dragonite's going to throw to you to hurt you. Even Chip is insignificant. So I would have farmed up, personally I would have farmed up a lot more. So you threw the Moonblast, take it out. And then you had like a Disarming Voice or something coming out. Because now you have Metagross that is just going to get a ton of farm. And you will get to one move. But like you would probably be threatening 2 Moonblasts if you farmed up more. So there's the first one. They're just going to commit to the farm down, which is fine. And you got to 2 Moonblasts anyway. So maybe you got to 2 Moonblasts and a Disarming Voice to force a shield or force energy. So that's the only critique I saw so far. Coming in Gyarados, okay, yeah, this is smart, right? Earthquake and Meteor Mash are resisted. The only concern I have here is that if you don't shield this, you're going to maybe be beaten in the back by something. Okay, throw a Waterfall. Aqua Tail. You got to throw Aqua Tail. You got to force the shield. So this is your misplay. You were at the Aqua Tail before they even got to a move. I don't care about fast move timing. Like, just throw the Aqua Tail. Especially when you have a Pokemon with Hex on the lead, you can force shields or really hurt your opponent. Because if they take Waterfalls plus Aqua Tail, they're already pretty down to 50%, and then you got a super effective Hex. That's debatable whether they want to do that, but they have to save shields for the Shadow Ball. So I think if you like forced a shield early, you would have had better here. Because now it's 2 shield, and the only problem is you are half ghost, so Night Slash and Shadow Ball are super effective. That was fast though, so this is probably just Night Slash, and you don't, because now you're just, okay, yeah. So there's a lot of things going on here. One, there's the 3 things. I already talked about the Dragonite farming. There is the chipping with Aqua Tail immediately, and then getting out into, force a shield or do a challenge and chip damage. And that was very fast, so that was clearly a Night Slash. And I know Night Slash is super effective, but so is Shadow Balls, and a boosted Night Slash would do much worse. So you have to take the first Night Slash. There's no real reason to shield that. And the problem with you is you only have 2 nukes, right? So they are now just going to outpace you to these other moves. I bet you they can just go straight Shadow Ball at this point, but they go Night Slash again. And you're just going to get outpaced here to the next move. Oh, and they caught. They didn't need to catch, honestly. They still have a shield, right? It was a nice catch. They don't need to. I think they're at a move already. Yeah, so just those things is how I play it differently. Togekiss, so good lead. You're half steel, so I'm assuming they'll get out. And if they don't, you take this all day. They eventually get into Gyarados. I would throw it is a Dragon Breath Gyarados. Again, they don't know what you have in the back yet. I feel like you should throw the Shadow Ball there. It's not the worst coming in here because it's a Dragon Breath Gyarados. They can all throw Aqua Tail, so you're okay. But you could probably throw the Shadow Ball, like chip it a huge amount, and then just put it in Disarming range voice, so that like you can farm up and take it out with the disarming voice. Because now the question is, I don't think a Moonblast even takes out from this range. So you kind of put yourself in a weird situation where it's like, yeah, you're going straight disarming voice because Moonblast won't take it out. So if you chip there and put it within disarming voice range, it just would have been easier to, you could then come in right away, farm a bunch, have a disarming voice, and still have a move coming out in the back end here. As opposed to this situation where it's still going to be like oddly close for a Dragon Breath user. Because now they're potentially going to get to a move here. I think you'll live an Aqua Tail from this range. But again, this is much closer than it needs to be. Oof, 1 HP. So throw the Moonblast blind. Yeah, you throw it blindly. It doesn't really matter what comes in here. Throw that Moonblast. Don't leave. Get your Gholdengo back in. Get that one. Oh yeah, Hex is a 3-turn move anyways. It's not Shadow Claw. They caught, which is fine. It is a Dragon Tail, which means it is slower. It's a Dragon Tail Garchomp, which means it is much slower to get to the actual moves that hurt you. And only they have Outrage. They're likely to have like Sand Tomb. Yeah, they're likely to have Sand Tomb and like Earth Power probably. So it's worth just going that. I don't even think there's a point in going Crunch. I think you just go straight Aqua Tail because the Waterfalls are doing enough, but that's fine. Oh, they have no shields. Yeah, okay. They have no shields. Might as well do the harder hitting move. Shielding up a Sand Tomb, it would hurt. The only thing is they may have I mean, you have to, but they may have a Flamethrower. You're out of move anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, you may want to let the first Sand... Again, I don't know how much damage does. Sand Tomb is a bad move. It's just to lower your defense, but I don't know how much it does on a super effective Gholdengo. Like, it's a steal, right? So I don't know. But I didn't also know how much energy they had. Snorlax... So you... Okay, lead. Snorlax, safe swap. I guess this is the band to... Snorlax is such a tough one if you do not have a fighter for it, because it really is so bulky. So Gyarados Waterfall. The only good news is with the Waterfall, you can commit to shield and like just fast move them, right? So they could, yeah, commit to the shield, out Waterfall them, take them out just by the damage of Waterfall. Come out. Oh wow, Jesus. You're gonna double commit. Yeah, this is tough. Commit to the farm down. You have a move, but yeah, this is tough. So gonna Aqua Tail. They try to farm down, so it's nice that you'll chip here. Unless they have like it's a fighter. So you're throwing Disarming Voice immediately. Yeah, don't even, no hesitation required here. Just chip these super effective. Interesting. I don't like that non-shield. Because now they're essentially Fairy Wind and Hex range. Shadow Ball's not going to take you out. You can just, I mean, I would throw a move just to start burning shields, but you're basically just going to Fairy Wind and Hex them out. Because they got to throw another Shadow Ball to take you out. Night Slash is resisted. Unless they're running Ice Punch. They could be running Ice Punch because of all the... No, so it's Shadow Balls. Have to dump all that energy. Now the Hex is going to take them out. Florges comes in. Will chip with a Moonblast. I was going to say, in that point... At that point, you probably just... this is the problem with the Pokemon that has like no bait move. I was going to say use Shadow Ball and grab that shield because you're going to Hex down the Annihilate anyways. But maybe you just Hex that down. This is Gholdengo's fallback, only having Shadow Ball and Focus Blast. Like, that's why it seems like more of a closer. More of a shields down closer than it is a like lead Pokemon. But I don't know. Again, I've never played with it, so I have no idea how to play with it properly. Shadow Ball lands. Right, could be Crunch, which would be super effective. So going to shield that up. I don't even know if you're going to get to another move before they will. Okay, so you just do... This will take them out, or grab a shield if they want to try and get the Crunch off, which is exactly what's happening. Are you going to commit the shield and try and hex down? So they do go straight crunch. Gonna just go for the hex down. They give up into Gudra. So there is one dragon as the safe swap. Aqua Tail, Thunder Punch, fine. Just going Disarming Voice. I don't think a Disarming Voice takes out. Grab the shield anyways. Now you can just go straight Moonblast. Heck, I don't even know if a Moonblast takes a full... This thing is tanky, so I don't even know if this takes out, quite honestly. No, yeah. Leaves them with like 1 or 2 HP. That's why I don't know about Disarming Voice there, because that would only do like 60%. You'd have to throw another move, as opposed to Moonblast, you would be able to just farm down here. So Mamoswine comes in, getting that Moonblast off. They caught on a Gyarados, which is nice catch. But doesn't matter. I would go instant Gyarados because you have a super effective water. They'll get 1 Avalanche off. I don't think they can get to 2 before you get to an Aqua Tail, because you're the instant swap here. And worst case scenario, you have a Steel on the front. Let's take a Mamoswine out. Gyarados lead. Again, we've seen this. Unless it's a waterfall, then it would be a little worse. No, just Dragon Breath. So same play, I think. Same, just go Shadow Ball. Last time you double shield the crunch. How? You'll have to write it in the comments how glassy this thing is, because you're shielding up every potential crunch, and I get that it's super effective. How much does a crunch do to this thing? Why don't I just put it in a PV poke and just see how much a crunch does to this thing, to see, like, because you are literally just shielding up everything that this thing throws. And I'm wondering if it's because it is just like super glassy. Gholdengo, Gyarados with a crunch. Let's just put you in the no shield so I can see how much this does. 50%. So 49.5%. Okay. It's not insignificant, but with the resisted Dragon Breath, like, it's not like they're going to take you out with the resisted Dragon Breath after a crunch anyway. So you could theoretically just let the first one go, especially that the first one has a chance of lowering your attack here. Makes a catch on the Florges, which is, I guess, a good catch, but you better hope you get to a Moonblast before they get to this other move. So you get to the Moonblast, Blast Burn being the other move. This should put it... Wow, yeah, Tokus is kind of sneaky bulky. I don't know if this takes out. I don't even know if you want to take out, is my question. My only concern is you're going to let them farm down because you want 2 waterfalls. My only concern is they have enough energy to get to an Ancient Power and take you out. Yeah. You got to be at least aware of that. Yeah. Like, look, man, I don't count, so I'm not going to be holier than thou, but... you got to be aware that, like, I don't even know the number, but somewhere between 8 to 10 charms, this thing's going to get to an Ancient Power and take you out. And you already had a ton, and you just let it get like 3 more. So I think, I know what you're trying to do because they have a Thunder Punch, right? So I think they already had a Thunder Punch, so you're probably going to lose CMP anyways. Who wins CMP, Gyarados or Typhlosion in the Master League? It may be a moot point if you don't take... No, that actually makes it even more of a reason you need to take it out. Well, no, because then they can just farm you down. It's a tricky situation. I'm not even going to look it up. It's a tricky situation, but yeah, you can't just get totally farmed down there. But yeah, I get why you potentially thought about doing that. But I think they were already at a Thunder Punch, so I don't think it mattered too much. Unless you win CMP, then it wouldn't matter. Okay, getting the Shadow Ball off, ton of damage. They should have 2 cross chops. You are shielding up the first one. And I'm starting to, watching all this, I'm starting to feel like it's less about, yeah, so this is why I was worried. So, okay, yeah, 2 things there. I mean, Hex, never mind, 1 thing, because Hex and Charm are both return moves. So Ghost double resists fighting, and Steel takes super effective, so it's still single resisted. I noticed that you're shielding up everything, and I thought that it was the crunch because you were worried about Gholdengo maybe glassy, but then it only does 50%. So now I'm starting to wonder if if your thought process on this lead is fight for switch at all costs. Because it seems that's what you're doing a lot. Because again, I said Gyarados and Florges basically cover each other's weaknesses, right? If you get a Dragon in the back, you really want Florges on it. You can't have a Waterfall Gyarados. And if it's a Steel like Metagross something, you really want the Waterfall Gyarados on it. So I'm guessing that's why you're shielding everything. So if that's a thought process, I don't hate that because I've played similar things. In fact, if you, considering you started on my channel, I don't know when you started on my channel, but you started playing GBL like 4 seasons ago. I made that switch in Great League like maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago as well. And for those of you who are newer to the channel, basically if you watch my like super early videos, it's always balance team with a safe swap. And I still play that a lot now too, but I always used to go balance team with a safe swap, balance team with a safe swap. And then 3 or 4 seasons ago, I'm like, you know what? I bet just safe swap with the other 2 in the back is probably even better, because if the safe swap is generally good at taking matchups, it's safe that you can like fight for switch. If you fight for switch and then just have like your Whiscash Skarmory in the back, then you can align how you want, right? And I think that's what you're trying to do here. I think you're just trying to fight for switch and then align in the back how you want. So grad 1 shield. They came with a Charmer, so potentially a double charm team, because I don't know why you would come in with a Charmer onto a Steel unless you're running a double fairy team. And they are committing to the shield, which they'll have a move. So you take, you take it the neutral here, Ancient Power or Flamethrower, or maybe they have a Roar Sphere, but that would be resisted. And it is a Metagross. Oh yeah, so I guess Metagross would also be very weak to that. Would be very weak to Gholdengo. It's not a Pokemon you expect much, honestly. Like when I build teams, I'm not building for Gholdengo. If I see when it is what it is. You're basically building for the other stuff. So it's a good Pokemon to catch people off guard with. Yeah, at this point you can just like, well, I don't think you're gonna get charmed down. You have so much energy too, so you're fine, yeah. Okay, good lead. Let's see if they get out into something. They do into a Metagross, and you instant swap to, yeah, I guess this is a better answer than, you could, I get the instant swap here because it's just such a good matchup. You could theoretically, like with resisted bullet punches, just throw a Shadow Ball and then come in here and take resisted moves on the Gyarados after. Like take it out, or then grab a shield and come in resisted Gyarados here. Either way, this is just a hard counter team. They've got nothing to do here. Yeah, they're just screwed. This is basically just a hard counter. And they shield. Why? I don't know. Okay, we're just going to fast forward this because there is absolutely nothing to talk about in this matchup. If you somehow lose this matchup, I would be very surprised. Okay, Waterfall Gyarados makes it a little trickier. Coming the mirror match here, behind on energy. Why would they come to a Metagross? Okay. Okay, I don't know if I like that switch on your end, and I sure as hell don't like the switch on their end. I don't know what they were thinking. Okay, so that was a very bad play by your opponent. Was it a bad play by you? Kinda. My only concern is you took like 2 or 3 waterfalls on Gholdengo. So by the time you come in, you're already going to be so far behind on energy that it's probably a losing matchup. Whereas Gholdengo and Florges are still like neutral against it. But you're like really concerned. I guess you're worried about the crunch. But Waterfall's slower than Dragon Breath, right? I'm almost positive that Waterfall is a slower energy generating than Dragon Breath. So they're not going to get to the crunch as fast. If anything, they're just going to go Aqua Tail on you. Yeah, slightly slower 2.3 energy for Dragon Breath and 2.67 for energy for Waterfall, right? So it's a slightly lower energy generating move. You have to shield up a potential flamethrower here. It's just an ancient power. That's unfortunate, but whatever. Farm a bit. Come out with almost 2 moves here. I would have gone 1 more, but that's fine. Oof, does not even take it out. Gotta commit to the farm down. Ah. Another ancient power? What? Okay. I'm guessing your opponent... What? I thought you said this was like the 22 to 2300 range. Where are my Metagross coming into Gyarados 2300 opponents? So again, good lead. They're not getting out. Like if you're running a Togekiss on the lead, you better have an answer to steals in the back. Like Metagross is, there's only like 2-3 steals in this meta you need to watch out for. Like I'm surprised you do not have an answer for this. Like go with Aurora Sphere, that's fine, but now you just commit to the farm down and come out with 100 energy. You didn't grab a shield there. Interesting. Oh, another come Metagross. Okay. No. What would they do against Gholdengo? What do they do against Excadrill leads? What would they do against Metagross lead? Because then you'd be behind on energy. They commit to the double shield. At this point, just let it go down. Come in Gyarados. They are staying in. Is it like a double steal team? Maybe it's an Excadrill or something in the back, which is why they're hesitant to get out here. But gonna crunch it to take it out. Oh, it's an Annihilate, which is also gonna have a bad time against Gholdengo. What a core! Yeah, like again, people aren't expecting core like that. Metagross would still be tough for this team because then you'd get killed on the lead. You'd have to come in here, which you can get Night Slash off, so it's not terrible. Or mirror match behind on energy, which is not a good situation to be in either. So don't love that team comp. Magnezone. So, I mean, you have to stay because obviously Gyarados does not want to see this at all. Could be a Wild Charge and Bail. If it's a Wild Charge and Bail to Snorlax, this is going to be a tough team for you. Oh, but don't bait. You can't bait against a steal. They shield one up. Although your backline is going to have a hell of a time with this too. Yeah, I was about to say you have to. Your backline is going to get killed by this. There's a Snorlax. I figured Snorlax was a safe swap. Again, the reason I just guessed that is because I don't care that you're double weak to fighting. There's Annihilate in here, but that's it. We saw them in Champ already, but there's not a ton of them. So in general, you don't need to worry about fighters. But if you're going to have a Magnezone and Wild Charge and Bail, you better come into something super tanky and safe. So Snorlax makes sense. And if you have that and that, they may have something like a Excadrill or some type of ground or fighter in the back themselves. Because they need something to take out a steal. Hex is resisted. You could potentially get it. It's aggressive. You're taking super effective licks. No, it's not even a... Okay. So, get that chip off. They're just going to do Mirror Shot. But the problem is you're so low that if you let this go, you're just going to get farmed down potentially. Yeah, you have to shield. Yeah, see, you're just like in a... I don't know how you get out of this. Even with the resisted moves, I know you don't want to shield up a resisted move. But the damage, double super effective Volt Switch, the damage is done. And this is too low to... unless Fairy Wind doesn't take out from this range, your opponent should just commit to the Fairy Wind. Don't throw a move, opponent. You just got to commit to... No, opponent, don't throw a move. You got to commit to the Fairy Wind down. Moonblast at that. they would have had you. You got to commit to the fairy wind down. When your opponent is that low, nice comeback for you. Nice heads up that they only had, again, I forgot what they had left. Trying to run with Florges, when they have to throw a move, fairy wind's not going to take you down. Fairy wind would have taken you down. You have to like read your win condition there if you're the opponent, right? Your opponent, you are so low. You are so low. You have a shield. First of all, you throw a Moonblast. Second, you need 2 Disarming Voices to take this out. If you're not going to get to 2 Disarming Voices, you're going to get outpaced to the Shadow Ball. Like you are going to get to the Shadow Ball before your opponent gets to 2 Disarming Voices. So if that's the case, your opponent needs to recognize that and just commit to the farm down with Fairy Wind. You can't throw a move there and let a full Hex through at that. Maybe if you time it's still just half a turn, like 1/3, like 1 going through, but you can't do that. Anyways, thanks for the battles. Yeah, so again, a couple things in terms of your matchups. Again, I think you were trying to take Switch at all costs in that, which is not a terrible strategy. Just don't let it, if you watch my video yesterday afternoon, let me just confirm. I think it was yesterday afternoon about the Greninja, because they had things almost, yes, when a 2-shield Greninja strategy goes wrong. Don't get too focused on a strategy at the expense of the rest of the game. And that's what happened yesterday in the video where they had the Greninja that they just wanted to 2-shield their way through. So they would were so focused on saving shields for Greninja, they would sacrifice other Pokemon, and it cost them the game because they didn't think through the logic. And there was a couple times there where you're shielded. You have the Gyarados lead with Dragon Breath, where Crunch does now 50%. Dragon Breath is resisted, so they're going to need to throw 2, and you were constantly shielding Crunches, especially the first one. Crunch has a chance of lowering your defense. So you should probably taking the first one and then shielding the second and third one. If you really want to keep Switch, that's the order you do it in. You let the first one go, Dragon Breath is resisted, and then you take the second and third one. But again, don't have it don't be so focused on, again, I don't even know if this was your strategy. It kind of seemed like it, but if not, this is just a general lesson for people. Don't be so focused on a strategy that it affects the rest of your game. You need to adjust based on what you're seeing in front of you. But that is it. Thanks for the submission. So yeah, tomorrow morning we will do the team. Some of you guessed it, some of you did not. Lots of different guesses. Most of you got 2 Pokemon. The third one seems to be tougher for the other people. So we'll do that tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there. So that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.